I'm John555, and today I'm continuing my series of MASH retro reviews with Season 5, Episode 7, The Abduction of Margaret Houlihan. Don't worry, she's not actually abducted. After a late shift in post-op, she's returning to her tent, and a young Korean girl comes up, letting Margaret and Klinger, who's also there, know that her mother, so the young Korean girl's mother, is about to give birth. So Margaret goes to render aid. Be a nurse, be a medical professional, do her duty. And then Klinger goes off shift and goes to bed. Next morning, no one can find Margaret. No one can find her. Frank accidentally shoots BJ. Yeah, that happens when he's cleaning his gun. And it is related to this episode because it's being connected with his worry. He's not paying attention. Granted, he probably would have done that anyhow, because why would he be paying attention and, cleaning his gun unloaded? That's too logical, too safe. Of course he's going to do it with his gun loaded. He's an idiot anyhow. And of course, they ask everyone, including Klinger, but Klinger's half asleep, and he tells them. He literally does say Margaret's having a baby. He just forgot to, convey to the fact that she went to help a Korean have a baby. And yes, they thought he was dreaming. Whoopsie. But of course, they can't find her, like I said, because they didn't make sure to clarify with Klinger, so they thought he was dreaming, making stuff up, because he was half asleep when they asked him. So Colonel Flagg ends up showing up. He does nothing. Frank shooting BJ in the leg, if I didn't specify, was more productive for finding Margaret than what Colonel Flagg does, which is, honestly, he's probably at his most insane in this episode, and he's always insane, but mainly because, he calls Hawkeye Honeycutt. He, comes in dressed as Colonel Paul says, in an Italian usher, though claiming to be in disguise as a Chinese double agent. I think it's crazy. He calls himself the Wind, and of course this is the episode where the Wind breaks his leg, if you remember that scene. So yeah, Margaret does eventually obviously show up and say, I was helping deliver a baby. And everyone's like, I told Klinger, and then they're like, oh yeah, of course. And Hawkeye says Klinger's memory isn't what he used to, or was that BJ? But then Hawkeye definitely does say, maybe he's going through menopause. Which is just a hilarious joke that's building off of the fact that Klinger wears dresses to get out of the army. Another thing with that too is there's a moment where that young Korean girl is looking at Klinger, and Klinger's response is, "This is what happens when you don't eat your vegetables." And honestly, I think that's the best joke around Klinger's dresses in this episode. Him just saying, I didn't eat my vegetables. I don't know why, but it is probably the funniest in this episode. And there's also a scene too where Colonel Potter gives a lecture to expectant Korean mothers on how to give birth, something that normally Margaret would do, but she is not there because she's actually helping with the birth. Granted, no one knows that because they didn't clarify with Klinger. But overall, this is a good, fun episode. There's not too much to say about it besides the fact that Frank does show still some concern at Margaret, some legitimate concern, which is kind of interesting to note because he's not known for having caring feelings about anyone else except for himself. So it does show you that despite his flaws, he did have some genuine care, genuine emotions for Margaret. He goes about it in the most unhealthy, hurtful way possible, but he apparently does have them deep down. He just is not a good person, so he does not express that stuff in a healthy manner. Mainly because, he's cheating on his wife when he was with Margaret. We gotta remember that bit of context. But that's all I have to say. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below.